So let's talk about. I do not like this light. Okay, this is like gonna have to get it. So I was watching this video. Well, greetings again. This is Kaneem Mafa, and I was watching this video about Young Pharaoh. He just did this interview with this Real Tunes. I think it was like the Real Tunes channel. So let's have a conversation about this. And I do want to let me light a candle first because I don't want to say no mean stuff. Okay. I light this candle with the intentions of speaking truthfully. Um, there may be some cuss words. There may be a little foul language, but I'm not just gonna air it out just to be airing it out. So we light this candle to guide home the ancestors who are transitioning to another part of the journey. Bless me to speak with thoughtfulness and to be respectful of the ancestors. Amen. A woman, let him let her. As I blow out this candle on the physical plane, it grows with strength and intensity on the spiritual plane. Okay. So let's have this conversation. Okay. So first and foremost, I've been getting into it with an ex friend who I used to deal with back in the G, and it just amazes me his stance, like how he look at things, the hypocrisy. I'm not gonna say his name, and I do still care about him, and I do still love him as a person. But the hypocrisy is amazing to me because when I met him, he was working the stroll, indulging in anal and oral with gay men, and now you're talking about a gay agenda. So I posted a picture of a black man with some lace panties on, like some lace G-string panties on, and he was wearing a garter, and the garter, and it was feminine, obviously, but just because someone wears, lace or wears panties and garters, that doesn't necessarily mean that their sexual proclivities lean towards the same gender or the same sex. Because Prince, dressed androgynous all the time. David Bowie dressed androgynous all the time. Like, it's just crazy to me that because how a person presents physically, it has to automatically denote who they sleep with. Just like, for example, me wearing blonde hair. At one time, I felt a way about presenting like this because I felt that was saying, oh, you want to be white, you want to be a white woman. And I think that I did have to go through this journey of understanding myself and experiencing myself in different ways and learning to love myself without the wigs, learning to love myself without the makeup, learning to love myself without all of these extended things because I do agree with what RuPaul said. We're born and the rest is drag. Everything you do, whether you're presenting as a male or whether you're presenting as female, whatever you put on once you start growing up, it's all drag. They got men drag, they got female drag. It's all drag. And so for me, I think that I needed to explore the drag that was originally associated with the original people because I do consider myself to be a part of that first people tribe. Amen, amen. But yeah. So like I think it was just like I think you can present how you want to present, show up how you want to show up, as long as you're comfortable with yourself when you're stripped down. When it all falls down, Yes, so when it all falls down, honey, do you love yourself? When they take that wig from you, baby? When they take that makeup from you, baby? When they take that dress off you, mama, do you still love yourself? I think I really love myself. Do you really love yourself? Yeah, I love myself. And so now I can have fun playing around in this drag. Amen, a woman. But anyway, yeah, it just kind of baffled me that he has this idea of the LGBT community having an agenda and it being crammed in his face. And I'm like, but years ago, you were cramming penis in your anus and your face. Like, you were not too long ago cramming penis in all of your orifices. And now today, you feel like an agenda is being crammed in your face. You're just sitting here quoting the Republicans. And the gag for me was when he said that he doesn't allow black people. He said, first of all, he said he doesn't like black TV shows, black movies. And I didn't really understand the analogy for that. He said he didn't like black TV shows. He said, I can't even explain why he said he didn't like them. But you don't like black entertainment or black performance art, but you get upset with people for saying the word nigga. You know, I don't get upset. You know, like I haven't been called a nigga in a long time. I haven't heard a Caucasian person say the N word to me in a long time. And like at this place where I am in my life now, if they were to say that to me, I don't think I would be offended because again, I see myself as, you know, a descendant of the original beings. And I think that the original beings were deeply melanated. And so if everything comes from the original people and they were deeply melanated, then we're all niggas. And I just feel like giving it's to me it's just like to me how certain religions give so much power to the devil. Like, you know, blame the devil for everything. The devil is busy today. Look at the devil. Oh, the devil did this, the devil did that. And it's the same thing with white people. White people did this and white people took that. And I just refuse to give something else that much power over me. Like you could call it ego, you could call it arrogance, you could make whatever assumption you want to make about it. I'm just not giving nobody else that much power over me. And so this whole blame the white man, blame the devil narrative, you know, in the churches, blame the devil, and in amongst black people, it's blame the white man. It's always blaming somebody. Like instead of doing the work to see what part you're playing and how you're contributing to the foolishness. And this conversation that keeps coming up is why black men and black women in America traditionally don't get along and don't have healthy relationships. And in my opinion, it has nothing to do with the trans community and the queer community because Young Pharaoh was like, you're uplifting your competition, saying that black women are uplifting their competition. It's not their competition. These are your children. Like your children is queens. They the girls. They trans. Like it's not competition. These are your offspring. These are your children. They came from you. No, it's like that's what's wrong with society. Thinking that the LGBTQ gay men and trans women are black women's competition. It's not a competition. This your children, baby. They are mothers. Why wouldn't they lift up, you know what I'm saying, trans and gay people? That's what a mother does. She gonna love you regardless as to how you are or how you show up. Like, and then out of your mouth at the same time you're saying that black women don't know how to be women, but is not lifting up your children It's not lifting up what came from you being a woman. A huge problem that I found with the interview is men trying to tell women how to be women. And no, I'm not a feminist. You know, let's be clear. I'm not a feminist. I don't think that society should be a matriarch. I'm not trying to be a woman. You know, I don't have to try to be anything. I came from a woman. You know what I'm saying? I have an X and a Y chromosome, honey. So that means half of it is woman. So it's in me. Like when you used to say, it's all in me. I don't have to try to be a woman. My mother was a woman. My grandmother was a woman. My auntie is a woman. My sister is a woman. My cousin is a woman. I got woman all up and through. I ain't trying to be nothing. I'm like, what Popeye say? I am what I am, and that's and it's the self-hate for me, you know, like anytime a female, you know, or a being that was born with a vagina try to put me down for my expression, understand, I'm not trying to be like what you are now, because a lot of y'all done lost your way. That's why I ain't got no girlfriend, because a lot of y'all done lost your way. You know what I'm saying? One thing that I do agree with him on is that I'm not here for this narrative where the black woman understands that she is God, but at the same time she's understanding that she's God. She's feeling like that gives her the right to put people down and to exalt herself over other people. Because, boo, one thing I'm not is your sidekick. This ain't the Batman and Robin. You know, this is not, I'm not a sidekick, honey. You know, I'm here to do my own thing in my own lane. And I respect you for who you are, and I respect you for what you stand for, and I respect you for what you've done for me. But, you know, I'm in my own lane. Like, I'm not trying to be in your lane. I'm not trying to copy you, because I feel like I'm paying homage to the DNA. My expression and how I show up in the world, I am honoring the DNA, not necessarily the construct, what it's become, how they show up in society today. My homage and my being is a celebration of what the DNA can be, of what the DNA was once, before the corruption. So I'm celebrating the DNA. I'm celebrating the XX chromosome. I'm celebrating what the XX potentially was before all this foolishness manifested. So no, I'm not trying to be you. I don't want to raise no kids. I don't want to cook and clean and be submissive to a man that don't deserve it. I'm not interested in any of that. However, I am interested in helping you with your children, helping him to become more whole, becoming more comfortable with his feminine side, because I think that that's why a lot of men are depressed today. He said that men are depressed because of child support. You know, they go to school all these years and become doctors, and then a woman come take everything from you with child support. I don't think that's what it is. I think that a lot of male identified beings are beings who fall up under the construct of manhood. I think that y'all have a difficult time dealing with y'all emotions. Y'all have created this makeshift reality where you're not allowed to express any emotion outside of rage, lust, humor. Yeah, rage, lust, humor. That's pretty much the gambit. And so, because you are not able to release, you're not able to feel that part of yourself that allows you to be vulnerable and that allows you to have those soft moments, you're self-destructing. The dam is exploded. You know, it's a storm. You self-destruct because you're a halfling. You know, that's what I call y'all. You know, y'all halflings. You're not whole. You know, and so I think my example and my expression is about mirroring wholeness, and I don't think that wholeness looks the same on every being. I don't think that every person who's born XY or every person who's born XX has to completely become the opposite of what they were born in order to understand, emulate, embody, and express their whole selves. That's what the journey looked like for me. I had to go and lay on that table and have the big chop and have that girl reconstructed in order for me to have that moment of awakening and that moment of clarity and realize you're behaving like a halfling. You're not being whole. You know, and I tell this story often when I went and laid on that table, honey, and they reintroduced me to that testosterone, honey. And I hadn't had testosterone in my body in almost a decade, honey. And I had to have a conversation with that young male, with that young boy that I tried to bury because I was rejected from male spaces. When my feminine behavior became too apparent and it became too strong, and I started to make males feel uncomfortable because they were taught in the church that if you're doing anything that has to do with femininity, then you're weak, and so they didn't want me around. They didn't want to look in that mirror. They didn't want to look in that mirror, so they pushed me away. And when they pushed me away, I wanted to erase them from my avatar. I wanted to erase them from my canvas. I no longer wanted masculinity to show up in me. I wasn't here for that, honey. I was here to mirror the goddess, honey. And but when I got ready to have that surgery, honey, and the doctor gave me that testosterone, and I had to have that come to Yemaya, that come to Oshun, that come to Jesus, that come to Buddha, that come to Allah, whoever it is that you come into. And I had to have that moment, and I had to talk to him. That he that lives in that she, honey, that he that lives in that they and them, honey, I had to address that he, honey. And when I had to address him, we had to have a talk. And we had to heal. And a lot of you, you were on my Facebook page and you were riding with me through that season, honey. And it was rough. It was rough. It was a rough ride. It was giving Rough Riders. It was rough. Oh, but I made it through the storm. Amen, a woman, I made it through. I almost didn't. Oh, I almost didn't, honey. I almost didn't make it, honey. I almost lost my mind. And so the title of this video is rooting for everyone that's black. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, young Pharaoh said that he was rooting for everyone that's righteous, not everyone that's black. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not rooting for everybody that's righteous, because sometimes you can be over righteous. Sometimes you could be doing too much. You could be doing the most. That's my problem with a lot of people who look like me now is y'all always trying to be righteous when you don't know if righteous is right. Like throughout the Bible, throughout all of these Christian patriarchal stories, what made God any different than the witches y'all was killing? What made the agenda of what they was going off the war and fighting other villages and fighting other towns, like what made their cause any more valuable, valid, or valiant than other people? Like we don't know because there's two sides to every story, and for every community that's prospering, there's another community that's suffering. The sun doesn't shine on the entire world simultaneously. The sun shines over here, and over here people are The sun shines over here, and then over here, people are experiencing night. The sun then shines over here, and then people over here are experiencing night. We're not all born at the same time. We don't all die at the same time. So we are not all going to be experiencing joy or experiencing peace or experiencing prosperity or experiencing awareness and consciousness at the same time. That's just not how it works. Again, none of us are born at the same time. None of us die at the same time. None of us well, some of us do. I wouldn't say that, but we don't all die at the same time. We're not all born at the same time. We are all going down different paths, having different experiences. I definitely feel and believe that we come from the same place, but when we split and we're divided and we have these experiences shape who we become, and they shape how we show up in society. And so my lived experience can cause me to show up in a different way than this person over here. And this is another thing that gets me, and this is why I don't do the whole rooting for everything black all the time with everybody, is because a lot of times people in my community will entertain mediocrity. And when I say mediocrity, I don't mean being basic or being average. Because if you are content with a small house and a regular car, or not even having a car, walking, like, I'm not here to judge. I am not a materialistic person or a super capitalistic person. I do want to experience wealth. That's on my bucket list. I would like to experience wealth, but I'm not here to judge people who are content with being late people, who are content with being like worker bees. I just think, don't be a worker bee in your mind. Like, be conscious, be aware. If you choose to serve others, if you choose to be a housekeeper, if you choose to be a maid, if there's honor in all of your service, there's honor in all of your work. But don't be unconscious, maid. Don't be an unconscious butler, or an unconscious car washer, or an unconscious custodian. Like, you can do regular lay work and still be conscious. You can still be present. You can still be aware. You can still be, you know, knowing what's going on around you. You can still be in the know, and you can still choose to be a person who has a service job. We have trauma from the past of our ancestors where we feel like, oh, we have to aspire to do these big things. And a lot of us aren't built for that. We get into these positions where we're responsible for a lot of people's lives, where we're responsible for a lot of people's health, where we're responsible for a lot of people's finances, and the corruption sets in, and it turns out, maybe if you would have stayed that maid, maybe if you would have stayed that housekeeper, maybe if you would have stayed that personal cook, you wouldn't have been responsible for so many people's misfortune, for so many people's downfall. So I have respect for the layperson. But when I talk about mediocrity, when I talk about how a lot of us entertain mediocrity, a lot of people who are deeply melanated, who have come up in American culture and who are dripping in American culture, child, we will sit up and watch the content, still watching these same movies where the black man getting shot down in the street like a dog, still watching slave movies, still watching movies where he hustling in the streets and arguing with his baby mama, and his drama at home and his violence, and sit up here and watch this stuff all day long and then wonder why it's manifesting in your life. Wonder why you and this woman can't get along. Wonder why you and this woman arguing. Wondering why do you and this woman fight. You listening to the radio. I'm about to kill a nigga. Had my bitch suck my dick and da 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 da, and then fucking hoes on the side and got another bitch. Got another bitch pregnant, baby mama coming. Had to kill a bitch. Had to run a nigga. Had to slap a nigga in the face. Shot a nigga down. Shot a nigga in the street. Nigga ain't have my bag. Nigga missing my money. Bitches did this. Bitches hoes did that. Bitches fuck a nigga whole, and you and your baby mama fighting and you don't know why. It's the law of attraction. You don't know why you're fighting with your. You don't know why you and this black woman can't get along. Why you're fighting? Why it's drama? Because you trying to keep your imaginary black card talking about we need to stop listening to the Westerners. You're the ones that need to stop listening to the Westerners because let's be clear, black men have always benefited more from this system than black women. Y'all was able to vote first. Y'all was able to get jobs first. Y'all was able to hold office first. This nation has pulled you up first. Like everything that came off the table before women's live, it was hitting y'all hands first. Now y'all want to talk about how females coming up, you know what I'm saying, with welfare and all that type of stuff. But y'all was benefiting first, though. It was okay until the rabbit it's no fun when the rabbit get the gun, huh? It's no fun. But during the period of Reconstruction, y'all was already in office. Y'all was already in office. Like this is not me putting down black men. This is not me hating on black men. This is just me telling the game I would win. Y'all was already on a come up. Y'all was already doing some business deals and handshaking, you know what I'm saying, behind the scenes. It was already popping like that. So when y'all talk about women need to stop listening to Westerners, y'all need to stop with this narrative because so many of y'all are trying to hold on to y'all black card. It's so important to you to still get the respect of the hood and the respect of the streets when the streets ain't even the streets no more. The hood ain't even the hood no more. They got dudes that's known strong in the hood getting on social media talking their business. Since when the hood did that? Since when the hood ever got on social media and talked their business? The hood ain't even the hood no more. Like y'all don't even realize y'all being programmed by the system. Like it's the system that infiltrated everything. Like everything that been corrupted. The hood ain't even the hood no more. And y'all trying to save face in the hood when the hood ain't even the hood no more. Like Jay-Z, what the hood made him. Not looking Jay-Z. He on Billboard. He doing this, he doing that. Like he ain't even worried about, you know, he don't need street cred no more because he got mainstream cred. And low-key, mainstream is programming the hood because who's creating the music? Who's controlling the music? Who's controlling what these artists are saying? Who's controlling what these artists are being allowed to say to community? And art shapes culture. Art shapes culture. I'm going to say it again. Art shapes culture. Hip-hop is the culture. It's being shaped by people who don't have your best interests at heart. They're letting these messages go forth because they don't have your best interests at heart. So y'all can say what y'all want to say. Y'all can say, oh, you ain't no real woman. Oh, you a fag. Oh, you standing up here in a dress and a wig trying to tell me blah, 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 whoopty, whoopty, whoop. But Google me and see what I'm talking about versus what you real hood niggas talking about. Google my music. I dare you. Go take my name, Kaneem Mafa, and Google me and listen to every song that I ever put out. And I know I got 20 or 30 of them out. Listen to everything that I ever put out. And I promise you I got more integrity in my music with this wig on, with this handcrafted vagina, with these hormone-induced titties than y'all do and you street niggas. You hood niggas. And you ain't talking about nothing. And then you create this reality like there's power in the tongue. Y'all call yourself God. Y'all say he is God. Well, what are you using? They say he spoke, then it was light. They say he spoke and everything came into manifestation. They say he did that. So his gift, his power is his voice. The female energy, that's the womb. It carries and produces. But the masculine energy, it speaks. And what are you speaking in your music? What are you saying from these pulpits? You condemning women, you condemning your queer children, you condemning your children that can't fit into this box. You in your rap music, you coming down on your brother, you putting your brother down, you talking about laying him down, killing him this. All that, like, you are creating the toxic reality that you live in. And this me with my queer tranny ass, I'm out here doing this shit in your world. I'm a y'all created this shit. I ain't have nothing to do with patriarchy, and it should be no surprise why I got all these curves. I had to bend and stretch and wiggle and I'm like this. So, no, I'm not rooting for everything black. I'm not. Because everything black ain't rooting for me. Everything black ain't rooting for itself. I'm not rooting for everything righteous. Because righteous ain't always right. Just because you call it righteous, don't mean it's right. It's a lot of people who thought in their mind they was doing something righteous. Christopher Columbus, he thought he was righteous. Malcolm X, at the beginning of his journey before he went to Mecca, he swore it was righteous. It's a lot of people who thought they was doing some righteous stuff. And it was later on down the line revealed that it wasn't so righteous. So righteous might be right at the moment, but that don't mean it's right. I'm for wholeness. I'm for people being allowed to fall short. People being allowed to miss the mark. Because that's all that sin means if you Google the root of the word. A sinner. That means that sometimes I miss the mark. Sometimes I don't get it right. Sometimes I don't hit the bullseye. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here for that. I'm here for I don't win all the time. I'm not no, all I do is win no matter what. Because I don't win all the time. I lose. I'm not somebody who don't believe that every now and then you ain't got to one of your little youngsters, you know, one of your little ancestors, because they doing too much. Because let me tell you something. We done got away from giving that child a little hi-ya. But I don't think you should be beating them senseless like they up on the plantation. But I do believe that you need to reach out and touch every now and then. Why? Because if you don't never get knocked down, how you gonna know you could get back up? And I would rather you get knocked down by somebody who love you and who gonna love on you after they done knocked you down than you get out there in that world and find out the hard way that wasn't chocolate, that was actually Dookie. That wasn't a Hershey, that was Dookie. You thought it was chocolate. You thought it was chocolate candy waiting on you, and that was really just Dookie. That was Doo Doo Brown. So Sometimes you gotta be the one to teach your children, and some of the lessons that you have to teach them, they're not gonna feel good to you. Cause when you have to, that hurt. If you love that child, you don't get no pleasure out of beating them. Although sometimes, if he being bad as hell, and he being bad, and you see him get a little love tap, you might be sitting over there in the corner like this. Cause I can be a little childish and petty. But then I will come behind it and be like, I love you. I love you. But at the end of the day, you really like, if you see somebody like really, really getting, like if you see a child getting beat, like some slavery, like, like, they got the belt and they just whooping the child, then no,. That's not funny. But getting a little love tap, a little shake, show ass right. Get out of here. a little shake up, That, like, sometimes, we'll calculate some shit like that. So, but yeah, I used to be like, don't whoop the children, don't beat the children. You know what I'm saying? We got ass whooping when we little. The children don't need no women. Nah, these children bad. These children, I ain't gonna even say they bad. I'ma say these children is dealing with some challenges. And these challenges is making it difficult. So, we didn't you got to lay hands sometimes. Sometimes you got to lay. I ain't saying beat them to death, but sometimes you got to, amen, a woman. But yeah, and so I really think that we have a lot of work to do internally in the Black community. Like, if and I'm gonna close out with this. If you are a man, you identify as a man, and you have had penis in your mouth before, a penis in your booty before, and you've done this privately, just because you don't, dress up or want to change your pronouns or want to live as a woman, it doesn't give you the right to condemn someone else for how they show up in the world. Worry about your soul. Worry about you. Worry about how you showing up. Worry about what you bring to the table. Focus on that. Focus on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we focused on ourselves, this world would be a so much more welcoming place. Check yourself in every situation. Check yourself. Ice Cube said that the best. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, music used to have so much meaning back in the day. Like we had our little nasty, wilding out, type of music, but music had more stronger messages back in the day. And I've been creating my own music for the most part. And I even realize now I can listen to other people's music again, because at first I couldn't listen to other people's music. I could only listen to my music. But I need balance, so I do listen to other artists again now. I started listening to a lot of country music. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to Africa. I'm going to Ghana at some point this year. I just feel like I need that. I always try to pretend like I didn't need it. I'm not really going to Ghana for like this super spiritual awakening, because I already feel like I'm woke. But I just feel like there's parts of the story that's missing for me. And I don't want to go off of hearsay. Like, I want to go over there and commune and make the connections for myself. I've been to South Africa twice, and I feel like South Africa was really preparing me for Ghana. I would like to go to Egypt, but I ain't got Egypt coins right now. If I had Egypt coins, I'd definitely go to Egypt. Cause I think that's that's where the slavery was at, baby. That's where they start. That's the first story we really get about slavery over there in Egypt. Like that's the original slave stories over there. So like I'm really curious about going to Egypt and just like to commune with the ancestors and find out what the tea is. But for now, I'm gonna take it over to Africa. But I'm telling you, like after I make this trip, I think I'm gonna switch. I think I'm gonna be ready to switch lanes. Like, if don't nothing develop, because I'm still grieving my husband and still mourning the loss of my husband, and we grieve in different ways. But I don't think my husband will want me to be alone. I don't think he will want me to spend the rest of my life miserable and by myself. So I'm not ready to move on right now. I'm not ready for no husband right now. But I'm feeling like I'm in this place. Like I don't know. Like, do I want to date? Anymore? Like, do I want to date, people with melanin anymore? Like, with an abundance of melanin, do I want to date in the Negro community anymore? Because it's like I gotta cry over y'all. I gotta, worry about being safe and protected from y'all, and you know, I got to, fight for y'all, when against the government and the system, and I'm like, do I have anything left? Like, I'm supposed to share the bed with you too, like, you won't take my soul, like it's like, who we, it's just a little bit too much. So I don't know. Like I'm feeling like I need to just go ahead and cross over to the other side, and get me old young redneck, get me old young white boy and just be singing yeehaw, like I do like, my little country music and things. So we'll see what the future holds, but I do know I'm gonna be making a trip and another trip to the motherland this year. Because I need to commune with them ancestors before I move forward. Because I got a lot of big things popping, a lot of big things happening this year, honey. So we're gonna see, where that takes me, how that opens up. But I definitely need that voyage. I definitely need that trip. I want to be able to say for myself, like, I don't go off of books and data and statistics because I know all of that could be manipulated. I go off of experience. And so I want to go to Ghana and I want to fast over there so that I could pick up the messages, so I could hear. Like I need to be there. I need to walk barefooted on the ground. I need to feel the wind against my skin. I need to be in that ocean, be in that water, because water holds memories. It doesn't forget anything. So I need to go over there and feel it. I need to go over there and feel it for myself. I need to go over there and experience it. And then that's gonna give me, because when I went to South Africa, I got a lot of clarity while I was over there, and a lot of things that would be revealed were revealed to me. And I think when I go to South Africa, when I go to Ghana, more is gonna be revealed to me. I think I tried to make the trips to South Africa enough, but they really weren't enough. Like my ancestors have been urging me to go to Ghana, so I'm definitely gonna have to go to Ghana, and I'm going soon. And so that'll be my next trip. But then when I come back from Ghana, you know what I'm saying? If things don't, if the door done close, then guess what? Next time I'm not gonna feel bad when I go to Europe, when I go to London, when I go to Paris, because I would be the went to Africa 3 times. Like this is gonna be my third trip over there, and this time I'm going to Ghana. So people won't be able to say, "Oh, well, you just went to South Africa," even though I lived in a village when I went to South Africa the second time, and the village is not like the city. Like the village, there's no white people in the village, so no, you could try it, but you tried it, but you didn't try it. But I'm gonna go to Ghana because I want to experience it, and that's gonna be my next voyage. That's gonna be my next trip. I think that's gonna help me get to the next level spiritually. It's gonna give me some answers. Um, I feel like everything is the motherland. We call Africa the motherland, but at one time it was all one continent, and then it was a super Pangea, and so this is all one great big landmass, and it broke up. And I have to correct the Africans when they be saying, because all of that came from Africa, because everything came from Africa. Well, actually, all of this was one great big landmass, and we don't really know exactly where life started. We don't know what part of that landmass it started on. Like, yeah, a lot of the origin stories um, have developed out of a certain place or a certain part, but we don't know specifically where life actually, like the first lives actually manifested before they evolved to Homo sapien form, because we understand that humankind has continued to evolve over millennia, over eons. Humanity has continued to evolve. It was another species before it was this species, and before it was that species, it was another species, and so it kept shape shifting and shape shifting until it became what we see before us today. And so we don't know where that original species originated from, and it wasn't called Africa, because Africa has only been called Africa for how long? But as I was saying, I do want to go over there. I do want to commune with those ancestors, because I believe, or I feel in my heart, that there is a different ancestry over there that I need to connect with. My soul has been being called there, so I'm definitely going to go and visit there. So that I can know for myself, so that I don't have to, listen to the brother Polites and the young pharaohs and the Umars, and because everybody got their opinion, everybody got their thoughts, about how things should go and about how things have to go. And I'm gonna let you know something. Our people are some of the most goat herding, sheep herding, gatekeeping people on the planet. We some big sheep herders. We some big goat herders. Like, we don't like to work the farm and work the plantation no more, because we too busy out here trying to, herd people like sheep. We believe in some cargo. We believe in human cargo, honey. We gonna get you to congregate together, honey, so we could impose our will and our way. And I've been trying not to be that person. I know that I have it in me. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie and say I don't. But I've been checking myself, and I think that's why I stayed to the back of the bus so long intentionally. Because when I do, become a guide, on a greater capacity, and when I do have a stronger following, or stronger community, I want to make sure that I am leaving behind something that that I won't be ashamed of. That's why I try to be as honest as I can. I try to be as transparent as I can, because I know that when you are called to lead, or when you are called to guide, that's the corruption, because part of that need to guide and part of that need to lead is ego. And if you don't check ego, ego can take you. And so I always try to check my ego. You do need ego to live in this world. You do need ego to exist in society. If you don't have ego, they will crush you. Your own people will crush you. People will crush you. So you do need a certain amount of ego in order to navigate society, especially if you're gonna be a part of society. Now, if you go and live in the woods, like the old folks used to say, we be scared of the snakes and we be scared of the animals. But the animals, a lot of them have been corrupted by the pollution of our energy. They can sense evil, they can sense negativity, they can sense a person, and I don't even want to use the words evil or negativity, because evil just means to live spelled backwards, and negativity is also just the opportunity the empty space to create something. So they can sense your intentions. They can sense if your intent is to harm them or to be malicious or to bring malice. And so most times, if you do not come with a malicious intent in nature, nature will fall back. We a lot of men or people who identify as men, they think that order is super, super, super important. Oh, without order, there's no chaos. But chaos is what gave birth to order. And to be clear, if we're being clear, like to be real clear, like let me give you an example. In nature, in the darkest water, it's the most things going on, right? It's the most life, tadpoles, minnows, all type of things thriving in this dark water. When you look in the dark soil, all types of bugs and insects and worms, are thriving in this dark soil. To us, that's chaos because it's busy, it's a lot going on. But it's nature, everything in it serves a purpose. Now, when humans come in, they want to control how nature works and call it order. But nature is natural chaos. And it's chaos because our programmed and conditioned minds can't fathom all of this going on at one time. Because we've been programmed only to be able to handle so much at a time. We can only process so much at a time. We've been conditioned to only be able to process so much at a time because we've been conditioned to only use a small portion of our brain. So a lot of times when you hear people talking about that's chaos and we ain't got no order and we need order, what you need really is to control everything because your brain can't handle all of this that's coming at you. Your brain is not, your brain is not equipped or doesn't have the capacity to handle nature. There are over 8 billion known variables on this planet. If you think that it's not gonna be some chaos, you out your mind. And all chaos is nature. All chaos is a whole different level of order that you can't comprehend because of your programming. When we go into nature, when humans step in, we feel like we got to bring order to everything. But order was already there. You just couldn't understand it because your brain doesn't have the capacity to understand what's going on. These infinite and intricate workings, you can't comprehend, boo. Because you've been conditioned not to be able to use that much of your brain to understand what's going on. And so you talking about order, 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 order. Because truth be told, you can't handle nature. I'm gonna go ahead and close out with that because y'all gonna need to process that. Chaos brings order. Order comes out of chaos, and order is just chaos broken down and dissected. Just like I say, hate is just love with a lot of the parts missing. We really just breaking stuff down. We really just compartmentalizing things. But the dangerous part about breaking things down, when you break them down too much, they become weak, and it can no longer sustain itself. And so that's the when the Creator said, "Be fruitful and multiply," was it really the Creator or was it the gatekeepers? Was it the people who were engineering human beings? Was it the people who were performing eugenics? for the purpose of creating a slave race. You don't ask yourself that question when that creator said, "Be fruitful and multiply." Was it really the infinite creator, or was it one of the offspring of that entity? Because you have to understand that back in those days, the world was a lot less populated. And so the power was not as divided as it is now. A lot of people were, a lot of entities and beings, they were concentrated with power. And they, because it wasn't so much, it wasn't so many people on the planet, it wasn't so many beings. And so each being possessed more power. You ever notice how when a mama or a daddy give birth, or like when they bring children here, the male loses a little bit of his energy, or the female loses a little bit of her energy because they gave birth, and that energy and that life that was inside of them, they gave it out when they made those children. And so they didn't have as much hump as they had when they created all them children. It took something out of them because they manifested another part of themselves outside of themselves. And so imagine back in those times where it was, where the energy wasn't so divided and the energy wasn't so spread out, those beings were probably super powerful thousands of years ago. And they probably could just literally engineer human beings. They probably literally could create human beings like that. And they said, "Be fruitful and multiply, because I need you to work. Because I'm sure not about to do it. I'm tired from making you." Anyway, let me get off this live. But it doesn't mean that they are the God of all or the creator of all. It just, we probably just looked at them as that because they were so much more powerful than what we were. And they probably, lived a lot longer. They probably lived for hundreds of years. And so, because they lived for so long and had seen so much like vampires, they were super smart and super intelligent. So we thought they was really, that thing, that entity, that one. We really believed that. Like, I could see that definitely happening. And we made a god out of some some beings who were just gifted in ways that we couldn't comprehend. Amen and woman. But and I think that's what's happening with this whole religious thing. Like, I think that's what's happening. We made idols out of something that was not the source. Because I don't think that. I think that is in all of us. I think that the only way that we will see the face of the true divine is if we all, just join back together. Like if multiple planets, were just destroyed all at one time and all that energy just returned, then we will probably in spirit be able to see the face of that entity. But I don't think we would ever see the face of, the divine as divided as we are now. We would have to literally come together and be on one accord and pool our energy together to see that face, to see that being. And we're just too divided. We're worshiping too many separate deities, right? It's too much separatism. It's too many cliques, too many hives and tribes for us to really, really see what that looks like. Even in the body, you have the heart, you have the lungs, you have the liver, and they're all their own universe. They all do their own things, but they have to work together to make this function. They all it all has to work together, and we're not there. We're not all working together so that we can see a God body, so that we can see the galactic God body, so that we can see the avatar for the divine. Like, we're not there. and that's why I consistently do this work, and I don't give up doing this work, because I may not even get to see it, in my lifetime, or this particular incarnation, but I may, be reborn and see it in the next one, and so I work not just for this life, but I work for the next one. I work for whatever that looks like. If I'm a rock, and I'm getting some rest, or if I'm a drop in a waterfall, or if I'm a butterfly or a roach, whatever I am, that life ain't gonna last forever. You got to go through something again. So, a man, a woman. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say in this video. I think I said everything, and I'm glad I didn't go in the places I thought I was gonna go. I thought the blonde hair was gonna make me be real ratchet, and it didn't happen like that. So burning the candle at the beginning really worked. Anyway, Damanananda Cool, it keeps spinning and turning. Ian Gani, Yanko Kalukalo, which means I am a child of God Goddess, and if I am, you know you are. Laylim Layler Nation, rise up, purple one.